to Silverrun Forest Farm. We are here in May with Jake, and he's racing the clock. This is the last of the new fields that he's been cutting, that he's been keen to get under crop in time for this year. And with just today left in the planting season, if we drove in a straight line, there's still plenty of work to do. So remains to be seen if we should make it, all being well, if we can avoid some of the mistakes that befell us last time, just not paying attention, being in too much of a rush. But we'll see how things plan out. So the order of business, we've got to finish ploughing out this area. He's pretty sure he's got most, if not all, of the stumps, so that's a big help. We got the rocks out last time, so if we can just get this ground broken up and the ground cover cleared, he's filled up the lime spreader, and that's sitting up in the shed ready to go. He's got a seeder over there. The soil tester is still here from last time when we finished getting the soy in the new field we cut just on the other side of the road bridge there. So things are coming along pretty well. Looks like there's a little bit of a tree off cut there that we've missed, but we can sort that out. Just gone 7 o'clock in the morning. We get the time on our usual run rate 6 times, and we will power on through the day. So once we get this under control, he's not keen to have a worker working this slope for the first time. Once the field's all sort of set out, he's pretty confident they can take care of the planting, because they did that quite successfully. The guy he's using over on the new field over the road there, but he's had a couple of examples where this case just gets away from him, and so he doesn't want to run any risk of an accident or worse of some sort, you know, putting the tractor in the river at the bottom, or he just doesn't bear thinking about all the things that could go wrong if you tack this hillside incorrectly. So that'll be the way we'll approach it. We'll get the ploughing done and hopefully the lime spread before lunch, and then he can get someone planting this afternoon, because the other job that needs doing is there's several fields that need some fertiliser before the crop gets too much further advanced, particularly the corn that we put in. So oops. And he's keen, he knows that there's some milk there to take, and keen to check how our new dairy is coming along. Not expecting it'll take a little while before there's any meaningful amount of butter and cheese to produce, but you know, keeping the milk up to the dairy's important. And he is pretty keen to check what's been happening down at the new sawmill, because hearing all sorts of rumours. He doesn't know what the facts of the matter is. You remember last time the They'd popped up that building that by all accounts is going to be a cereal factory, so that promises well. We've had that little weird sign on the fence for Agco, so doesn't really know what that means. And actually the sawmill itself, yeah, there's a few people around town speculating that the new sawmill is struggling a bit. You know, Jake's commented on a number of occasions that never seems to be much traffic in there. They had those investors in that put the little BGA facility in that we took over so that we can sell our sugar beet. And we've still got a shovel full of sugar beet sitting in the shed there that needs to go down at some point. Don't think we'll get to that today. But yeah, it's odd thing. There's just a lot of, you know, hushed conversations, you know, the sort of thing you're sort of talking about. Somebody brings it up and nobody really wants to talk about it. So be real interesting to see what comes of all of that. But for now, we've got a few trips back up and down this hill just to get this top layer broken up and this ground cover shifted. And we might check back in with Jake when he gets a bit further through it, I think. And just to make it interesting, it's just started to rain. We're coming up to 8:30. Sounds a bit heavy, but hard to say how long it's going to rain for. I don't know if it's going to be enough to interrupt us on the hillside. Certainly don't want to be trying to spread lime in the rain. That'd be pretty fruitless exercise, but hopefully, as I said, it's a bit clearer over in that direction. Hopefully it'll just blow through and we'll be fine. It sounded a bit more menacing perhaps than it might really prove to be, but we'll power on as long as we've got enough traction to pull the plough. As you can see, we're steadily eating through the bits that need attention. Just that one patch there in the middle to go, and we should be right. Feels good getting to this point. Jake's been at it. It was a long winter, but pretty worthwhile when you start to look at the map and the amount of ground we've now got cropped. And he's still got a few ideas of a few of these fields have got scope for expansion next season, so I don't think he's done with his plans, and he's always, you know, in his trips around the district, sort of scouting areas that might benefit. Obviously there's a fair bit of land up to the north that's got the big sequoia trees on, and because they're protected, they're not really candidates, but apart from that, there's plenty of spots to be having a look at. We could expand the field immediately opposite us. We've hardly touched the area that we did last time, so let's pop this guy up at the top of the hill. There's a spot we missed there. Just a bit from last year's crop that we mightn't be able to seed if we don't deal with it. Let's get the Allis sorted and run a few tests, which shouldn't take very long at all. X to unfold it. We bring up the little mini map down on the side. We've got our green circle as usual. Tells us the area of the test, so we want to go from somewhere like there. B gives us the test. We'll just doodle around here like so. One of the telltale signs that stuff's afoot, Jake's decided, is that Stumpy's been pretty quiet, and he's usually a good source of information. And his mate Buff, who was involved with the investors with the new sawmill, he's been completely missing in action. So Jake's a betting man. He reckons there's definitely something on the go, and Buff's involved in it up to his armpits. So we'll just have to wait and see what happens. So won't get that in the last one. Rightio, so that's a field and it's all sampled. We use Y, we can send them across to the lab. X will fold it back up. V will lift it. Let's head back. I'll grab a cup of coffee, and with any luck we'll get the results pretty quickly. Sugar beet in there's coming up nicely. Rightio, so let's just put this soil tester away. Doesn't look like we need any maintenance. Okay. We can pop you in the shed. Use the something a little bit larger for the there's our lime. We'll use the McCormick, I think, for the lime. It'll navigate that hillside pretty well. Now the big question is though, when's this darn rain gonna stop? Looks like it's still with us for a little bit. So let's have a look. So the weather forecast is saying middle of the day. And so we've probably got another hour or so of rain. So maybe the plan is to go into town, get ourselves some fertiliser and drop this milk off. I don't think we've got anything else we're ready to sell. Let's have a look here. So we use our barley for the seeds for the moment, although that's not a good price anyway. Oats we feed to the horses. We haven't got much of those. Corn is coming up for sale, but really hoping we can get another 100 or so per 1,000 litres, suggesting that, let's have a look at the detail for the corn. So if we have a look at the map, in June, we should go very close to that end of the year price. So we're hoping to get a bit of a bump next month. And there's our milk. Best priced if we were to sell at Sunnyside, but putting our dairy in, we'll be selling to make butter and cheese, which we then sell to the cafe. They still like our product. If we needed a splash of cash, we could always sell them the milk direct. But for the moment, it'd be nice to get a bit more butter and cheese produced. We're making some silage out of those snakes. There's 3 shortish snakes Jake made last time, so that 330,000 litres of grass is turning into silage, so probably worth kind of 10 times that amount. So there's another 100,000 sitting down there just fermenting away. So won't worry about slower and manure, and we don't have enough digestate at the moment to use as fertiliser, so we're going to have to buy a couple of bags of fertiliser. Let's grab the truck, because we can pop the fertiliser on the back. It'll be easy enough to, they'll load it up for us at the shop with any luck. Good. And he almost drove off without actually putting any milk in it. That wouldn't have paid terribly well. 3,500, 37.50. So nice little amount. Woohoo! Will you look at that? So it's been a couple of days since he's been down, but check that out. That is a fancy new facility. Look at the flash looking sign on there, and a shed. That cell tower looks pretty new as well, and that'll be good. Improved reception, but that's a lot better than that dinky sign that was there before. It looks like all the rumours have been on the money. Agco is not quite in the building, but they're coming to town. Geez, they've even sent a truck up. Branding's everywhere. Obviously they're seeing some potential in this area. So you can see all the wood piles are gone, and that... Oh, what's that over there? It's a new workshop. Look at this fancy looking turn in here. Probably shouldn't be coming in here, but looks a little bit quiet at the moment. But looks like some guys have got a Kubota franchise and set up a bit of a service yard, so that'll be pretty handy. They've got a fancy looking sign as well. So it's all said and done. This area is coming along quite nicely. Obviously there's a bit of money investing in Silverrun, so they've given up on that roller coaster is a bad joke, but the rest of what's going on in the area is looking pretty good. And it still looks quiet over at that new sawmill. I reckon something's not right. Jake's always taken all his timber up to Stumpy's container yard, or, you know, the float pond up the old sawmill. So did sell one load there, but didn't think much about it. Looks like they're starting to produce a bit of product for us, so that's good. Need a little shelter or something to put that in. These billboards are popping up everywhere. Not sure about all of that. I'm sure the locals will graffiti them at some stage. There we go. And we are still having trouble with unloading this tanker, so Jake might leave that for now, and we'll come back and sort that when they've taken all the milk out. Meanwhile, let's go and get our fertiliser sorted. It's still raining, and we've still probably got an hour or so to go. We've only got enough cash for a couple of bags of fertiliser, but pretty sure we've got to check before we came out, but we've got some in the spreader, and he's kind of liking this New Zealand product. Some bloke called Args, he imports it or exports it from New Zealand, I guess, but it's just a fraction cheaper, and no sign. We'll know better when we get some yield numbers, but no sign that it's any worse than anything else that's going around. Crops coming out of the ground fine in the places where we've used it. We'll know next month, I guess, when we do the barley. Nope, too high depth perception. Might just drop those straight on the back, actually. Rightio. Put that down. While we're here, let's check in the store. Haven't had too much trouble with rocks, so that's not something we need. And that little crane for... We're not moving enough containers, although that might be useful for the folks that are doing all of that construction. So nothing we need to be thinking about in the new equipment store. Let's head on back. We might go up this way, just check out this field here. It's all looking pretty good. Just let's duck out. What's it? Yeah, so definitely need some fertiliser on there. So both the cornfields need doing, which is what he expected. When we get back, we'll just check the other the soil report and see what we've ended up with in that hillside soy field. Actually, we could potentially put we're doing flat fields, so we could potentially put the Allis on the fertiliser spreader for now, as long as it's not too heavy. Let's just see. Okay, looks all right, and it's almost full, 3,000 litres in here, so we're good to go with that one. Let's have a look at the soil map. Let's just see what we've ended up with. No great surprise, more sandy loam, so a real mix. We did best with our loam down the bottom. And of course, Eddie's field was a real good pickup. So this suggests maybe, don't know what this side of the slope is up here. Well, that might be something for next year. Maybe there's a patch of loam in there that we could work. And who knows, as we develop this section, what we might find. But for now, that's our soil map. pH is done for the year. We'll wait for the crop to come up in the new fields, but we've got one, two, we can fertilise the grass. So 2 definitely need it. We'll see how we go. Oh, sun's out. That shower's blowing through, so let's head on over with our lime. We're kind of on our planned timetable because we can get this lime spread, which shouldn't take too long, and then we can get the seeder started, or the planter started, I should say, and we can get over and get on with the fertilizing. So the brakes are pretty good on this. I reckon we can confidently go down the hill. Let's see. That's going on all right. Topping it up nicely. The soybeans are a pretty valuable crop, so any little improvements in yield we can generate are a good thing. Let's see how we go pulling it up the hill. Might be a bit of a struggle. Clockwise works better on this field. We don't have as steep a run. But 8,000 litres of lime is likely to be fairly heavy in the trailer there. And with this wet ground, traction might be a bit of an issue. Well, the sun looks like that storm's long gone, so the weather should be warming up just nicely. Good planting weather, wet ground, nice and warm for germination. Beautiful. Just about done here. Pretty good coverage. Certainly looking at a much more respectable shade of green than the washed out baby poo yellow that it was before. There we go, there's all our lime done. And we'll just park up the top. And we can put all the equipment away later. Oh, there's one spot just to do there. Get you over out of the way. Let's run over and grab the seeder. Using all of our equipment today. The planter, I should have said. So, yeah, Jake did his homework and plotted out a proper field definition for this field. So we should be able to just bring it up on our console. Go in here. 5 point on these hilly fields, just going a fraction narrower seems to work better. And we will do 3 headlands because it's a bit tight. And if he overruns it all, that'll look after us. Now, what did we get in terms of a course? There it is, hiding in the background. I reckon that one's pretty good. That's going... I think he needs to go across the slope. I reckon trying to go up and down will be not very successful. So let's see how we go with manual. And what's the angle going to be across there? Probably about 30 degrees. Let's see what that gives us. Up and downs are good. Rows to skip, right up and row angle. We want about 30 degrees, I reckon. I reckon that's perfect. Short rows, but I think it'll work better for us. So let's start you off. We've got our soy selected. Oh, we've gone into the... We've run out of money. Not enough cash to pay the worker. Well, that's a bit of a problem. In that case, we're doing it ourselves. Because until we've got some silage to sell, cash is a little bit tight. But let's pop you down. We've got the right seed. And I guess what we can do is a slightly different pattern to avoid all those turns. We'll do it ourselves. Let's turn you off. Let's see how we go running down the hill, and then we'll take the more gradual slope up the hill. It looks steep when you look at it from this angle. Just leave it on idle and just let it roll down happily. So it seems to be working okay. The only problem this is going to create is in relation to just having whether we'll have enough time to get all the fertiliser we want spread. Now that's not... He's really keen to get it on the corn and the grass, which will need to be cut soon so that we can make some more hay, but it's not super time critical. This is the main time critical job for the day. Maybe we should have sold the milk rather than move it to the dairy. We could always run some butter or cheese round to the cafe. They would pay for that, so we'll see how we go. I think we'll be right. Let's just see how we go. Running down that hill. Probably won't, so we'll be staring at that ceiling liner would be my guess. Oh, there's just a little patch there we missed. Let's turn this way. Line it up. That's it. Kind of nice width. Find if you keep that left front wheel just inside the edge you're trying to run, it works quite nicely. And she is steep. Now we've got a sunroof there, we can peer out. We'll check back in a little while, see how he's going. So we're down under 50 litres of seed. We're not going to have quite enough in the tank to finish it off, but it's just coming up to 2 o'clock, and we are absolutely on track to finish this last of our arable fields and the planting for the season just in the nick of time, so that's a good feeling. So Jake's just going to run back in a second when we run out and fill up the planter. Just finish this last little bit of let's get as far as we can here. There we go. Just a bit bigger than the seed box capacity. This little field. Hillside soy, as we've called it. 11. Counting it down. Back round the circle. 8 litres will get us about 20 metres long here, I reckon. Maybe a bit further to the turn. That little dot that's annoying the OCD amongst you is where we've just had a little miss with the ploughing. Okay. Let's go get more seed, and we'll see you over in the fertilising after Jake's just finished off this little patch. Now that big AGCO sign up there, that must be that harvester that Eddie was telling Jake about that works on the hillsides, because he reckons that's the reason they wanted to set up in this area. It's actually made by some Italian crowd, so I have to learn more about that one. But for now, all our planting is done, and we just need to get our fertilising sorted out. Our crops down here are looking pretty good. Make sure we're not going to damaging anything here. Nope. Away we go. Let's see if we can top up the phosphate levels on here, not on the nitrogen levels. Shouldn't take too long. In the meantime, he can enjoy the view of his hard work in these lovely green fields, looking across to where all the construction's happening. Very interesting. Very interesting times. But this shouldn't take too long. As you can see, we're powering through it 3 lengths of this field, and then we'll go over and do eddies. And then next month, we should be able to fertilise our soy. Already making a big difference. Going from bright red to bright green in the coverage map. But with that as a view, that's where we might leave it for today. Thank you very much for watching. Come back next time and see if our barley's ready to harvest. Stay safe. See ya.